Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor. Today I wanted to talk again about print ads. I've got a lot of questions and a lot of comments on print ads. What's the best way to do it? What's the best time? What's, the best aspect on how to do it? First rule of thumb is if you've got a magazine that is whole and undamaged and there is a possibility that it will sell, do not cut it up right away. What you can do, though, is you can put a postie on it. Just stick a little postie with a number on it. Stick it on the top of it after you take a picture of the magazine, and then take pictures of the actual print ads themselves that you think will be worth selling, at least individually wise. And then what I personally do, I'll list the magazine and the print ads at the same time as different auctions. If you're going to list the print ads anyway, what's the big deal about spending a few extra cents, 5 cents for us or less, to list the magazine as well? Don't cut it up. Just put a number that matches, so you can put that number in the title, or if you're using a custom SKU number down there, you can do that. So the number will match from the magazine to the actual print ads. Now, if you're just doing print ads differently, use a different set of numbers so you know which ones are in a magazine versus which ones are not in a magazine. You can do Ks or something, for example. K, if it just has one letter, it's in the magazine. If it has 2 letters, it's in a bin somewhere that you've got like 10 in like K1, K2, K3, or whatever you're going to do for categorizing it. This way, if you have a chance in selling the magazine, if the magazine sells first, take the print ads down if that's the case. Or if you sell a print ad, then worry about that. Then you can cut the magazine up and just pull that one listing down. But chances are, if you've done your homework, you'll know whether the magazine's a real good magazine or not. And it's really not a big ordeal if you sell the magazine, as long as it's priced accordingly and you know how much money you're going to get back out of the item. And again, you might get more out of the print ads, and there may be no reason to save the magazine. It just depends on the magazine. It just depends on the ads in them. Some ads sell because of who's in them, so keep that in mind. If, Ted Williams or a famous baseball player or sports player is in an ad, they usually sell more. But like Lucille Ball or Bing Crosby or something, those will sell ads, and sometimes I do not list those in the advertising section. Sometimes if it's a famous person or musician, I'll list them in with the records or in the musical section. But when you find ads or find, ripped up magazines like this, I'll decide on what I'm going to do with them. Is it worth keeping the magazine? Is the magazine possibly going to sell for $50, or am I only going to be able to get $10 a piece out of the ads in it? When in doubt, I'll list the magazine, as I said, with a number that matches the ones inside of it. That way you're not out anything. And basically, I break the spines down. I'll crack them up there. You can hear it going off, especially if the spine tape's gone. And then I'm down to just the physical pages of it. And then you can separate it from there if that's what you're going to do with it. Here's a good example. Now that I've busted the spine out on this, you can see it comes out fairly easily. I don't risk it for the most part. I do have a paper cutter. Most people don't have a paper cutter. I'm not going to recommend to go out and buy a big paper cutter. If you got the money and you see one cheap somewhere you're at a sale, it might be worth getting. Now here's one for artificial legs. I may not cut this down until I need to, saves me the time, because it looks like that's actually, well, there's one for Ovaltine in here. This may or may not sell. Ovaltine might be a color-only ad that sells, so just keep that in mind too. Black and white ones sell, though, for quackery or things along that line. Guns they'll sell for. Keys, locks, things like that. And again, the key factor in this is doing your homework and doing some research on these. Once you've sold a bunch of ads, or you've seen or looked up a ton of them, you're going to realize which ones are worth the money. I sell typewriter ones here too. Some of them might not be a great ad. It might be ripped too close to it. You want a good distance around the actual print ad itself. Now, some of them actually will do a line, because these were sold by so much page space, like 1/5 a page, 1/6 of a page, 1/8 of a page, half page, full page ads. So sometimes they're even divided that way. Most collectors want them in the exact size that they were sold, because then they have the complete ad with something around it. Some people recreate these, some people make postcards, all kinds of stuff they'll do with it. Again, you don't want to just do that without having permission to reprint an ad or reprint a postcard or whatever you're doing. Just keep in mind that there are some legal aspects to this. But with most ads, research is key, and they're not going to be quick movers for the most part either, so keep that in mind too. And I've had other people who sell ads realize that and make comments. Yes, that is true. They're not going to be quick sellers for the most part. The majority of them will not sell quick. Some ones like Coca-Cola from the 30s or before will sell quick. Some ones with somebody famous in them, some alcohol ones, some gun ones, again, will sell quick. Realize the difference between a color one and a non-color print ad. Realize the difference in sell-through rate. More colored ads will sell for certain items than will sell for the black and white ads. And again, it depends on what it is. Some ads will sell better, like maybe this artificial limb one, than it would for a color one. And color ones are usually newer as well, too, so just keep that in mind. You also want to have a good idea on how old it is. So if you're busting out a magazine, keep all the ones from that magazine together until you list them so that you can write down the date that the magazine was printed. That is a key factor in listing print ads. You want to get an accurate date. Now, you always can't do that. And in some cases, you're going to get a bunch of stuff and it's not worth selling, or the item that it's in is junk and the only thing to do with it is to cut it up and get rid of the junk part of it and save just the print edge, which is fine. I keep them in like little sleeves that comic books go in, the little mylar sleeves with the card in there too. And that's how I store most of those items prior to listing them. I've showed you in other videos how to list them with my storage videos and also, or what to do once you've listed them, I should say. So, refer back to some of those videos here too. And again, with print ads, as I said, you also want to zoom in and do like a key area when you're doing for a main photo. So just keep that in mind as well. And they're going to need a size and the whole works to know exactly how big the print ad is. Some other issues to think about when you're doing print ads is sometimes it depends on the magazine they are from. Some people like certain types of magazine ads better than others. Some are larger than others, like Saturday Evening Post are usually bigger ads. When you're looking at National Geographic, they're going to be smaller ads, but the back covers usually are good if the front cover's damaged or missing or something like that. So there's other areas that you can look at into here too. So you just have to look into this a little bit and do some research on print ads in general. Obviously, the best way to cut these up is with a paper cutter because you can butt this against the rail on the one side to have a straight edge when you cut. So once you've cut and had the straight edge here, even if there's no other straight edges, if you have one straight edge, you can square it off perfectly fine by putting that straight edge against the rail on the side. So that's how I look at them too. If you don't have a paper cutter, scissors will work, but take the page out of the book first, or the magazine, or whatever you're cutting up. I cut up books too. It's all a profit margin game here. I want to make profits. I don't care if I'm damaging a book that somebody thinks it's historical. If it's only worth $10 for the book, but the engravings inside the book I can sell for $100, I'm going to cut the book up. I don't care what anybody says. That's my philosophy. You don't have to take that philosophy, but this is a business, and I take it as a business. When people buy stuff to turn around and resell, they may have to break it down. They may put it in lots or take it out of a lot and sell it separately. That's the same thing you're doing when you're cutting up books or magazines. So just keep that in mind, As I said, they're going to be long tail hauls for the most part, for most of these. But once you got a bunch up, there's people that only sell print ads. That's all they do on eBay is sell print ads. Believe it or not, and they make a ton of money on it. Most antique malls you go to, you're going to see racks of print ads sitting there. They sell them. There's a reason they've got so many, because it takes that many quantity up to sell a bunch to make a good profit on it. But it only takes one. If you spend $1 on a big stack of ripped up books here, and you sell one ad for $15, you've made your money back. Your chances are, if you've got, a stack like this and there's, 50 to 100 print ads, you're going to sell a couple right away and at least get your money back and have enough money to let them run for a little longer and get some residual income out of these. And again, that's how the game works. You get a bunch up, it sells throughout the time frame of it being up, and that's where you're getting your money at. It's not the clothing market. It's not the market that everybody's used to. If you haven't been in collectibles and antiques, it's a totally different market, and you have to look at it a different way. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on print ads and what I do with print ads. Again, if it's in a magazine and you're not sure if the magazine's worth selling, keep it in the magazine and just take the pictures of it that way. And when you're doing listing on the print ads, I never ever show the back of the print ad. Never, ever, ever, ever do I show. If somebody asks, I will show them, but I've never had anybody ask. I don't advertise what's on the back. It doesn't mean anything to what the title says. A print ad is literally that, a printed ad in a book, a magazine, or a periodical of some sort. So just keep that in mind. I use 2 photos. I'll zoom in on the first photo. The second photo is the whole print ad itself. No backside whatsoever. I never post a backside. Sometimes I think that is detrimental to your item selling because they're going to look at it, oh, there's just some junk on the back. Most people who collect print ads know, but there's a good percentage of them, 20 or 30% probably, that have no idea what a print ad is. They're happy with it when they get it, but they might be a little discouraged when there's just some junk on the back. So just keep that in mind in print ads. But again, that's what I have for you today, Don the Auction Professor. If you liked the video, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon up top to be notified when I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.